Football at 4, powered by the Inside the Birds podcast, which you can get on all podcasting platforms, and brought to you by the Fanatic Sportsbook, which is where we are today. And it's a full house in here today. A lot of people hanging out, a lot of sports going on, a lot of college hoops early in this morning, or afternoon, I should say. By the way, the Flyers made history the other night. They scored 3 goals in 26 seconds. That was the highlight of the weekend.
I did see that.
What's bigger? The fact that the Flyers broke a record scoring 3 goals in 26 seconds, or that the Eagles had a 96% chance to win after Dak Prescott's interception. They're the only team in the league to lose multiple games after leading by 14 or more points. They had a 14-point lead against the Broncos earlier this year as well. Adam Caplan is here to break down the problems that the offense and the defense had, and they lost a 21-point lead to the Cowboys. Adam, and a team that had their season on life support, they got a lot of air infused into their lungs with that win, the Cowboys did. What did that loss, though, do for this Eagles season?
Well, Mike, first of all, they lost Drew Makuba to a broken right ankle, and the only question is, will we be able to come back for the playoffs if they make a deep run? So that was obviously one of the really bad things to come out of this game. As a matter of fact, Mike, Reed Blankenship has a left thigh injury. They're going to have to work through. We know Sidney Brown will be the first guy up. Mac McWilliams has barely played, can play safety if you need him to. Michael Carter, though, would make way more sense. As I told you at the time of the trade, their plan was to play safety and nickel. He's played nickel so far. He could absolutely play safety. He was a safety at Duke. So he's an option, but none of them are any good. I mean, Mike and Andre Sam, who the Eagles, they've kept him around. They like to develop him. But they've got problems now at safety. Both guys are hurt, one serious injury. So that's one of the bad things in addition to that awful loss by 21 points, by blowing a 21-point lead.
Yeah, well, they got it off a 21-point lead by obviously doing some things well in the offense. Yep. But, Dallas did give them. I mean, they got the running into the roughing the kicker penalty, which really wasn't one, and they capitalized on that, so give them some credit. They had the interception in the end zone on a play where Blankenship grabbed the guy's jersey. So even some of their positives were kind of like, What did the offense look like in the beginning and then kind of trailed off where they didn't do anything in the end?
Yeah, look, the running game, Mike, it's just I don't know what else to say other than to explain that, and we could go left or right. I'll just do this again. Mailata's not had a good season. This was not a great game for him. Listen to Inside the Tape tomorrow with Greg Cosell and I. We're going to get into deep in discussions about the offense. We're actually taping the show tonight, and we could talk about the injuries, and Landon Dickerson has not been himself. Remember, he had the 2 surgeries. You worry about that. Lane's out. Lane Johnson, we don't know exactly when he'll be back with the Lisfranc sprain. You've got Tyler Steen, who's in his 3rd year playing guard. He hasn't played at a particularly high level. He's been up and down. And Cam Jurgens is not himself. So, Mike, if you wonder what's wrong with Barkley, well, it's the run game. It's their inability to open consistent holes. Now, is Barkley look as good? No. But it starts with the offensive line, Mike. It's just their pass blocking was a little bit inconsistent in this game, more good than bad. But the run blocking, Mike, is it's a major factor. It's nothing that we knew. Like a lot of their issues we knew about coming this season. Unfortunately, they've happened. But who would have believed this? Think about this, Mike. Just doing the math. Barkley's on pace for only 1,057 yards, which is almost 1,000 yards less than 2005. That was in 16 games. Remember, he was rested one game. So this is pathetic, Mike. And yet somehow they're 8-3. Really should have won yesterday. But we'll get to the penalties in a second. But the offensive line has been, honestly, they're a bottom 5 run blocking line. It's hard to believe. And they were elite last season. Don't explain this to me, Mike. I have no idea why it's happened.
Right. I mean, that Saquon Barkley, the struggles there that you just talked about, 1,000 yards off the pace. I mean, everybody kind of looking at it. Saquon Barkley off. Is something wrong with him?
Right,
you just laid out the offensive line that I think that the offensive line, Adam, is almost at the top of the pyramid, and then everything down. I mean, everybody questions Petula, but I don't think he's great, but he's also kind of limited in what he can call. If he can't run the ball, you're taking away half of his offense.
Yeah, I kind of laughed at people wanting the Eagles to run the ball when they're up 21-0. If this was this year, of course, don't let her throw it, run it. Well, the one thing that they did well in that game is pass it. It's just kind of funny how people think, like they want to point the finger at Petula. Like before this game, have at it. We I hate to say we've taken a shot. We just told the truth based solely on tape study and other clubs that we've talked to. Bad scheme that the Eagles have offensively. This is how other clubs see it. They don't know what it really is. Although I like this game. Very aggressive early, formationally, stack releases, bunches, little play action. Got Hurts off in a rhythm. I love that. I've been calling for that. Why did it take so long, Mike, to Week 12? Other than a little bit here or there, they've not gotten him into a rhythm. That's on coaching. This game they did. Hurts was more good than bad. There were some times when he held on the ball a little bit too long. And then also, this is something we've talked about in the last 4 weeks on Inside the Birds. The good thing is completion rate is good. I mean, it's very good. But the problem is, and this kills run after the catch, this is only if you watch tape. You wouldn't know this. Or you wouldn't. If you're not talking to people watching tape, you're not watching yourself, you wouldn't know this most likely. But Hurts has, a half a dozen throws per game where it's not on the right shoulder. It's not where the ball should be, and that takes run after the catch possibilities. So the per pass attempt could be higher. Instead of relying on a couple of big shot plays per game to get his yardage up, they could actually do better if he could be more accurate where the ball should be. But overall, I no problem with Hurts in the game. It wasn't perfect. He was fine. He was not the problem. I don't care what anyone said. He was fine. Nothing was perfect. He knows what it's got to look like. He also made one unbelievable throw, which we're going to talk about on Inside the Tape tomorrow, which is an area where he's really improved, and that's called anticipation. But, Mike, the 14 penalties overall as we move on here. 6 offensive, 5 defensive, 3 on special teams. One more was offset, by the way, would have been 15th by a Dallas penalty. See, here's the thing, Mike. You talk about Patullo. Okay, great first half of execution and design and having a good feel for what's going to work because Dallas played a lot of off coverage. Well, Mike, look at the third quarter. I mean, look how many bad penalties. Third quarter legal formation on a 20-yard completion to Goddard. You can't have that. Devontae Smith, OPI on the 8-yard completion to Goddard. Next play, A.J. Brown, legal formation. Fred Johnson, legal hands to the face on a 60-yard completion to Smith. What does that have to do with Kevin Patullo? Like, people need to think before they speak. I kind of laugh. Like, people will find anything they can to criticize a coach without having facts. This is not a Kevin Patullo badly coached game. You want to talk about other games? There's a lot to go around. This was not it. How could now you want to put it on the head coach? You want to put it on the offensive line coach, who's great, but what's wrong with the offensive line this season, Mike? You have all these penalties, Mike, taking away yardage and big plays and drives. Well, there's your answer. What happened in the second half? No, they didn't need to run the football. They can't run the football.
Yeah, the 14 penalties. I don't know, the one where Juergens got called for his head moving too fast. I don't know.
I didn't see that one. I didn't see that. I know they called it. I did. I replayed that one. That was It's funny. I went through. We'll get to defense in a second. I'm for penalties just on TV copy. I'm like, TV you generally can see. It's one of the things you can see pretty well on TV. That was the one where, and then, see, here's the problem. Then the Dallas player points, and then they call the flag. I hate that.
Well, that one there, yes. They said on the rules analyst, who was it yesterday? I can't remember. Was it Pereira?
Blandino, I think.
Blandino, yeah, said that he moved his head too fast. I don't think I've ever heard that one before. But that being said, they were sloppy all day. They had so many penalties. The Goddard penalty, that was a big one too. I mean, you had just so many moments in that game. The Gibson play where he feels the freaking punt. I mean,
Terrible.
You have Covey here, who was a good punt returner. That whole story is weird to me. Why they just don't give him that opportunity again? There were so many things. The one thing is, you mentioned Patullo, and everybody kind of questioned. You're right. I mean, they did have plays yesterday, and you talk about Hurts. I will say the one thing that hurts, he took that sack was terrible.
That was bad. Yeah, that was bad. And I think we're going to be talking to Greg about that for tomorrow's show on pass protection. That I know people want to put that on Hurts. That can't happen. Timing was bad, but they might have had a pass protection issue on that one. I have to see. But, Mike, overall, Fred Johnson had 3 penalties. Juergens. It's just they're struggling, man. And it's not like they have anywhere else to go. It's not like they could replace anybody. I mean, what are you going to do here? Use Brett Toth as a starter now? I know he had the one great game, and other than that, he's not really been productive as an Eagle when he's played. They don't really have any options here, Mike. They have what they have.
Yep.
We thought they'd be better after the bye, or at least more consistent. That does not happen.
Well, and you said at the top, Adam Caplan, everybody, Football at 4, the offensive line's inconsistency across from left to right. They're just not the offensive line that, by the way, this offensive line has been the strength of this team since, 2014. You go back to wherever the offensive line has been the strength of this team. So it's so mind-boggling that they're having so many problems, really, since Stoutland got here, when he came with Chip. You're going back to 2013, that their offensive line has been pretty darn good all the way across the board. So that's that. Defensively, which has been the strength of this team, and everybody, kind of hangs their hat on this. How would you describe their game yesterday?
Not good. I mean, Mike, it was interesting, though. It was tail two halves, right? Pretty good for the most part until they gave up that touchdown. The run defense was outstanding in the first half, bad in the second half. In fact, they only gave up coaches will tell you that they grade run defense in specific ways. What I've been given is how many explosive runs. That explosive run is 5 yards or more. They only had one in the second half. The first half, Mike, the Eagles gave up. They gave up 7 rushes of 5 yards or more. Javonte Williams is not explosive. He's a decisive runner. He's nothing close to the player he was before his multi-ligament injury with Denver. But, man, he looked good in this game. They could not get consistent pressure on Dak Prescott. Prescott torched them in the second half, Mike, and they did a good job against him in the first half. They were just more disciplined. Now, did Makuba's injury, did Blankenship's injury affect them? Of course it did. Dory Jackson, I need to mention that, obviously. He didn't look great. He had some good snaps, some bad ones. George Pickens absolutely destroyed him. As a matter of fact, Mike, 9 for 146 on a touchdown. He got caught all 9 targets. Remember, he got hurt late in the game. And the three DPIs on one series, Mike, in the second half. I counted another one when DeJean could have gotten one. Coop kind of struggled when he had. I know it's tough when there's a sudden change when you have to go over permanently to corner. They get, you notice that they didn't use. They used Ringo. Ringo got a penalty. He got pulled. They didn't use Ja'Cory Bennett that I saw. So they have so many injuries now on defense with Jackson, with Blankenship, with Makuba. Jackson has a second concussion this season, Mike. So it's a short week, Mike. Their first injury report comes out tomorrow. That's it. I mean, they got problems here on defense and back end.
Well, and you mentioned, the Makuba injury. That injury happened with like 30 seconds left in the game, but he's the biggest one because he's going to be out for, I would imagine, the rest of the year. I can't imagine.
Well, he's out for the regular season. That's not in debate. It's can he come back for the playoffs? It'll be hard, Mike. It's unfortunate. Friendly fire. He got kicked. He got hit in his ankle, his right ankle. It's you saw him writhing in pain. Felt really bad for him. As a matter of fact, he was really coming on after inconsistent starts. So yeah, it's tough.
But
I think what you learn, Mike, in this game is when your pass rush can't get home and you're struggling at the back end, you're in trouble, and that's really what happened.
Well, but the Blankenship injury, that one, I mean, when Sidney Brown went into the game, I think he struggled big time.
He did, Mike. Sidney Brown, the shame of it is I know people are going to find this hard to believe, but I'm telling you, he started to really come on. I think it was a Giants game 2 years ago, late in the season, tore his ACL his rookie season. He's never really been the same. As a matter of fact, they've relegated him to special teams. He had another special teams penalty yesterday, by the way. These penalties, Mike, that's on coaching. Yes, the players they're 1A on this one. It starts with coaching. How many times this season has Sirianni said he puts it on him how he coaches them? They're not clearly coaching good enough. Well, I give him credit for saying that, Mike. The players have to do a better job. I mean, I don't know what it was like. Contagious, Mike. Both sides of the football. It was bad in special teams. Now, other than some big time plays from Hurts to A.J. Brown, which is great to see, and Devontae Smith, and Goddard should have had a bigger game, but he got some balls called back by penalty. Braden Mann was fantastic. Jake Elliott missed a 56-yarder. By the way, I have no problems him kicking it. The game's indoors. They know what he's capable of. He's got to hit it. Simple as that.
I'll push back a little bit on that. 3rd and 2, I didn't like the play call. I think you can run the ball twice and try to get the first down instead of
push it. Yeah, just push it. Yeah.
Right. You either push it twice or run the ball on 3rd and see if you can get 2 yards, or if you don't, you get 1 yard.
They could.
Right. Exactly. But that's the play where they end up, 3rd down and 2. They end up getting sacked, and then they got to settle for the 58-yard field goal, and you're like, you're 3rd and 2. But it tells you Adam, how little they trust their run game right now.
I can't believe what you just said might encapsulate where we are. They are 8-3. They have the tiebreaker over the Rams. Their game back. They're still in the driver's seat to be one of the top 2 seeds, and they still have a chance, but to get the number 1 seed. But it's a tough loss. It's a short week. They'll have to forget about it. Injured. So when we talk, I know Andrew. Go ahead.
Not only that, you just said it's a short week, and you enter this year thinking you're playing the Bears on Black Friday. This is like
man.
This is like a showcase game for Amazon to get its cute little game. They got 2 first-place teams here, and if the Bears win this game, they would have the head-to-head, and they would pass you.
Good point. Yeah, Mike, it's interesting. When this game came out, I'm like, well, it's Ben Johnson's first year. I've always been a fan. See if you could help Caleb Williams. Caleb Williams is so aggressive throwing the football. I can't wait till we talk to Greg Cosell, who will break down this tape, but for a pregame show. But overall, Mike, when you look at this situation, I know the sky's falling for Eagles fans because they hate Dallas and it's humiliating. It's great. I have this picture on my phone. I took a screenshot of Jerry Jones when they were down 21-0. Fox showed him. I mean, you see him like he's rolling his eyes. He can't believe it because they had the comedy of errors, Mike. It was one of the strangest games of Eagles-Cowboys history that I could remember. It went. I picked the Eagles to win. I thought they could score a lot. That's the thing. I thought it'd be high scoring. But Dallas kept throwing up in the first half. The Eagles took advantage, and it was good to see how aggressive Petula was. Yeah. That was another thing I want to give him credit for. I've criticized him a lot on our show in my own way about not being aggressive, helping Hurts out in the beginning. He did everything I'd asked. And then the comedy of penalties in the second half. It's just I don't. And by the way, I don't. Well, I know they have a safety problem, and we're past the trade deadline, so that's going to be a problem. But I still believe they can make a big Super Bowl run. I still believe that. I'm not a homer, as you know. I don't care if the team wins. I'm not a fan. I'm objective, but this is not a great year for the league in terms of quality of play. The Rams are good. There's no doubt. They're great coaching by Chris Shula and defense, Mike, but we'll see what happens. The sky's not falling, folks. Take it easy. I know you're upset.
It's funny. I would agree with because of the defense. I do think they're deep now losing possibly Tuesday. We'll see what happens with Blankenship. I would imagine Jackson doesn't get through the protocol, so you're going to need a corner this week. The pass rush. We didn't really talk a lot about the pass rush, but their pass rush was not great yesterday. And look, it's been their calling card the last couple of weeks, but they got no pass rush yesterday. That was a problem. They're going to play a Bears team that has been very good up front in recent weeks. Their pass rush was not great yesterday in that game.
It wasn't. That surprised me, Mike. Yeah, that'll be our last subject here. Jalen Phillips is non-existent. I'm very surprised. Vic did not blitz much. I don't have the blitz numbers, but Greg Cosell sent me his notes, and he said it was a coverage game. They decided they weren't going to blitz, which surprised me a little bit.
The one blitz was Dean, and he got to him.
Yeah, he does. What an unbelievable. By the way, that was an unbelievable play by Dean. Dean was a phenomenal blitzer at Georgia. He did it himself. He threw the guy down, then he got the quarterback. That was a great play. But look, this is a coverage game. I didn't agree with it. They got away. Look, first half, hey, Vic was right. Second half, when you're not getting home, and by the way, they killed them on the crossers. As much as the Eagles got the Cowboys on crossers, by the way, I love that they finally brought them back. The Cowboys crushed them on crossers in deep middle. They got a problem, Mike, in their secondary right now. And by the way, the Bears pass target group, we're going to talk about this on Wednesday, is super deep. Yeah, it's funny. When we started the season, Mike, I'll leave you with this. I thought it was a ho-hum game against the Bears. I didn't expect this.
I think everybody did.
By the way, the Bears had 6 key players on defense out for this past game. They still beat the Steelers.
All right, well, we'll be talking all week about this matchup in this game and the fallout from the one that we just watched as Eagles, an epic collapse. It's the 21-point loss. Second time this year they have been up by multiple touchdowns and lost that game in the second half, and we'll see how they pick themselves off the mat. We'll talk about it here on Football at 4 with Adam Caplan. Thanks, man.
Thank you.